perspective and all that, getting hit multiple times. Coming out of that bike section, more drivers coming to blows.
Well, hello and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back here to Slow Motion Broadcasting, and welcome back to the Formula V Weekend Warriors. This is the 12th and final round of this season, coming to you today from Brands Hatch. My name is Ron Maunz, and alongside me, as usual, working the comms and the cams is Mr. Joshua Wilkie. Well, Joshua, at the end of another season and a full year of Formula V Weekend Warriors action here on SMB. It's been a pretty wild ride, but to round off this season, we head off to a track that I feel is rather fitting to end a Formula V season at, Brands Hatch. It's an old school track, some old school cars, gonna have some old school fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, Ron, for sure. This is a great way to finish it off here at Brands Hatch. Super fast, really fun technical track here. Some pretty difficult corners, you know, T1, super blind. You got to get that one right every single time. You got to be basically inch perfect over that hill to get that line correct. And then we got a lot of passing areas around here too, places where you can definitely try to squeeze one up the inside. It's going to be a pretty awesome race, and I think this is a great place to end the season as well.
Is going to be a very, very fun race. This track is conducive to putting on some brilliant Formula V action, so expecting that to be the case here. Want to say as well a nice hello to Dan Szynski and Tam in the YouTube chat. Dan saying that he's watching this broadcast from his in-laws pool down in Florida, which I would usually make a crack saying, oh, you're lucky. It's very cold up here in the city of Philadelphia. I'm pretty sure Dan's brother Brian was joking after last week's broadcast that he was tuning in and driving through I nearly said a tsunami. That is incorrect. It was a blizzard. There's the correct weather event that I was going to say there. But I don't think I have any room to judge when it comes to cold, especially with you, Josh. I mean, I know for me here in Philly, it's 41 degrees Fahrenheit. What ungodly low temperature is it for you?
It is snowing heavily in Revelstoke at the moment right now. We probably got a good four inches of snow overnight, and it is snowing heavily at the moment right now. So it never gets really, really cold here because, believe it or not, if it gets really cold, it can't snow really big. It snows really small, and that's why we get so much snow here. Our snowflakes come down as big as silver dollars around here, and that's because we have fairly mild winters, and we get gigantic snowfall. It's wonderful out here. But yeah, a little different than maybe some of you are used to out there for sure. We get about almost 30 feet of snow here a winter, so it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is. You only actually did get some snow here in the city of Philadelphia. Just a slight dusting overnight, nothing major. It's all melted away. But probably going to see some snow in, I think, in about 2 weeks' time when round 1 action comes around for season 1 of 2026. So the snow season certainly starting up here in the northern hemisphere. And Dan saying that there's a 70-degree difference from where he is right now in Florida compared to how it is for him usually at home. So that is culture shock in temperature form. I'm not sure if that's a correct technical terminology, but certainly it is now. Currently minutes of qualifying with 3.5 minutes on the board in this 15-minute long session. A reminder, folks, we here on the Formula V Weekend Warriors have a 15-minute long 4-lap session. These drivers have 4 shots to try and get the job done, and let's see if they will be able to make it work. I'm about to get some lap times on the board. Daniel Salmon first across the line. Andrew Love, the sponsor of today's broadcast here on Slow Motion Broadcasting, slotted in P3 now as his main Masters driver, Alan DeGassis, jumps up to the top spot. Alan, off the back of an overall pole last time at Okayama, so we'll see what he can do here today at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, this place, it's going to be another one of those tracks, Ron, where you need to practice around here for sure. I really like this place. I've never totally been able to find the rhythm around here, though, and I think that's pretty key to this place as well. You need to find that rhythm. I mentioned quickly there T1, and T1's very, very important around here. It's probably one of the best passing opportunities down that front straightaway to get a bit of a haul. But trying to pass through T1 is a very dangerous proposition. It's not easy to go up the inside. Like I said, it kind of filters down to one line on entry, and then it kind of spreads out. You find yourself, if you miss that line, it just sort of extrapolates out, and you find yourself out on the grass really, really easily. So I'm expecting to see a little bit of fireworks there. I'm expecting to see a little fireworks into the last corner as well. It's not going to be an easy one around here. You're going to have to make good decisions, and I think qualifying is going to come down to kind of who practiced the most.
And hearing as well in the broadcast chat that I may be running a little bit low on volume, so let me...
yeah, let's see if we can't fix that.
Can we check the radio volume? That probably flipped that to hell. That was probably so
a bit
loud
low
that it was
here.
actually quiet. So I will just sing a song and ditty here.
Let me see if I can't fix that.
Could also be down to the fact that I am maybe talking a bit on the quieter end, just generally speaking. I'm usually shouting here on these shows, but no, this is, I think, it is about to be the first hour and a half, actually the second hour and a half. I've already been on the air for an hour, and I'm going to be on the air for another 6 by the end of today, so it's maybe just me saving up my voice a little bit. I will say, though,
I think we got you fixed now.
Only here, yeah, there we go. The issue has been resolved. The issue in air quotes. I feel like me being quiet on one of these shows should usually be taken as a blessing instead of anything else. Tortolo currently holding on to the provisional pole at the moment, though, in that number 90 machine. It's got to be him and Felix battling out for the win in this race, I feel.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all, would it, Ron? These two are very fast Formula V drivers, and it's great to see them now that they're kind of ding dong back and forth here, race to race, and it's great to have Tor back for the last round here, and of course Felix Samoa is about 4/10 behind him now, maybe just a tad more. So still looking for some time out there. Tor's definitely the class of the field so far, but we do still have some time left in qualifying here, and like I said, it's going to be difficult to execute that lap around here. There are a lot of corners that are difficult here, and it's going to be all about momentum and keeping that car moving here as we're watching Tor, sorry, I keep calling him Thor, taking some pretty awesome lines through there for sure. You really do have to play with the edges of the track and stuff here. You can see him take a bunch of curb there, trying to stay out of the grass. One of the more difficult corners here, you can see it's kind of cupped out a bit, so you can really take an aggressive entry on it. And then this run down here, I think we're going to see a little bit of passing opportunities in here. At least this is when you want to be right up the back of the car you're trying to pass for this long, somewhat straight. Wouldn't call it a straight really at all, but probably one of the straightest parts on the track, and one of our best drafting opportunities into T1 as well, Ron.
Yeah, I think turn 2 is maybe going to be the spot to try and get a move done all throughout this race. That would be the spot that I would go for at the very least, but again, very good reason why I'm behind the microphone instead of behind the wheel. Not a lot of time left here in this session. Already past the halfway mark. These drivers, though, already seeing some good lap times on the board. I do want to say our SMB colleague, Mr. Guido Marzuki, not out there on the racetrack presently, but we'll hope to see him back on the racetrack at some point soon, as my father has now come with me in the broadcast booth. Yes, I'm aware that the volume was low. It was not in my control. It was in God's hands, Dad.
We fixed it, don't worry.
It was small. It was the volume was small.
Hey, we're working with everybody.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, that was Dolby Atmos. If anybody wants to know, there were a few different profiles on there, and I made a special one just for us here, and I didn't have it loaded, so it actually kind of pulls the equalizer down a little bit just for info there. Kind of interesting behind the scenes production stuff for anybody who's interested.
Yeah, see, I have not gotten to that point as a producer yet. Pretty much how it goes is every single thing is playing into my headphones at the exact same time, apart from the music, which I would usually say is enough to drive a grown man insane. But, you know, I feel like I usually have more wild stuff playing into my ears during these shows. I remember early on into my broadcasting, I would have the iRacing volume turned down as low as humanly possible, which may not have been the best idea, because I wouldn't know when to raise up my voice whenever a car was coming up, so I'd just be speaking at such a low volume all the time. If anyone's ever tuned into some of those old broadcasts, Josh, you were the producer for some of my first shows, just on broadcasting period. I used to speak a lot less bombastically than I do, just because I was a quiet, reserved 18-year-old, and now here I am, professional loudmouth. Felix Samoa just jumped his way up to second a few moments ago. Was going to note that before I pass it back off to you, Josh, because I think we also have the sponsor of today's broadcast, Andrew Love, looking to have a chat with us here.
Yeah, why don't we grab him and bring him in here for sure, and thanks of course for the sponsorship today. We do a little bit of oh, there he is right there. How's it going, Andrew?
Hey Joshua, how you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. So we're at Brands Hatch, final round here. How have you done? Lots of practice this week? You ready to go, or did you like this place? Tell us about Brands a little bit.
I like the track. I like this layout much better than the Indy layout. The Indy layout is just too short. I love this layout. I love the ease of this track. Did some practice last night with the draft party. I considered it a win, even though I was a lap behind. I was able to get my lap back on the last lap, so I kind of passed the leaders for the win in last night's fake race. But yeah, I love the track. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I really like this place too. I was saying in the run-up, I've never really been able to find the rhythm around here. Do you have any keys maybe for this place? Where are the passing opportunities going to be? And what's kind of the key to this track, would you say?
What I was doing last night is I was doing the over-under going into turn 1. That seemed to work for me. I could get up. I would be on the outside going down the start-finish straight, and then I'd do the cutover, and I'd be on the inside going into turn 2. That seemed to work, except that the person on the outside of turn 2 has more momentum, so they have a little bit more speed going down the hill, and they can get the lead back by the turn 3. The other passing area is going to be just putting yourself too wide going into the woods way back after the straight going into the woods there up for the two full throttle kinks.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. We were mentioning T1 there. That sounds like a great strategy for T1. I have seen passes like that happen there. I think it's probably going to be our best passing opportunities, probably down that straight and into T1. And then, like you said, sort of down the back half of the course in the woods there, there's a few spots where you might be able to get the inside of someone. But it's going to be about good decision making out there and making sure you got that lap and you're clicking it off and just making good decisions. But we'll be watching you out there, Andrew. Is there anybody you'd like to thank or say anything here before we let you get back to qualifying and get this race going?
Yeah, thanks to Jim for doing all the admin stuff, putting the tracks and the list and the schedule together. Thanks for Michelle for getting all the sponsors together, strong-arming some money. Thanks to you guys for doing the broadcast. Thanks to everybody for participating, and it's been a great season, and I'll see you on the other side.
Awesome. We'd like to mirror all those sentiments as well. And a big thanks to you too, Andrew, for sponsoring the races and getting out there and showing us a good time on track and everything too. So have a good day today, and hopefully we'll see you at the end, man.
Sure thing. All right. Bye.
Have a good one.
And that right there was Andrew Love, the sponsor of today's broadcast here on Slow Motion Broadcasting, heading off into Season 1 of 2026 in all of the Weekend Warriors. So if you would like to put your name or your company's name on the fantastic Weekend Warriors action, you can by getting in contact with Mr. Stevie Wright by joining the Slow Motion Broadcasting Discord server. Got a lot of action to look forward to. Season finales here in the Weekend Warriors world with round number 12 for the Formula Fords coming up tomorrow, and the season finale for the Spec Racer Fords, round 11 of their season, coming up tomorrow as well. That'll be at 12:45 Eastern for the FFs and 2:45 p.m. Eastern for the Spec Racer Fords. Got a lot of action to look forward to here on SMB. Gives you a good reason to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of the racing action. Along Jason Shen, first time he's run these Formula Vs, and he was actually advocating for himself to get put in Spec 1. However, he is in Spec 2 for this race. Will maybe change class affiliations come time for the start of next season. We're currently slotted in 8th here in this qualifying. Let's see if he improves there. He does not. About a minute and a half left to go here in this qualifying session with that very nice Mario Kart bullet theme paint scheme. So I think we'll take a sidestep away from Jason Chen and maybe take a look at the championship point standings as we head off into the season finale race here at Brands Hatch. Been a wonderful season of action here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. I think we cut away to the aerial shot at the right time. Unfortunate for Jason after setting a purple sector 1. It looks like things go awry out of turn number 2. But here is your Spec 1 points heading off into this race. Now, it is all but assured that Felix Samoas will be your champion here this season, not only down to the fact that he holds on to a comfortable margin over Guido, who's not even here today in P2, but the fact that Tortolo, the closest racer that is here today, is is 100 points back of Guido, let alone of Felix. So that is probably the biggest margin that we have in the entirety of the Weekend Warriors, maybe second only to the Spec 1 gap in the Formula Fords. That is rather massive as well, much like me. Joshua Justice is slotted in 4th. That was just a fat joke, by the way. Michelle Lynn runs at your top 5 in the Spec 1 category. We'll take a look now at Spec 2, where things have been a bit more up in the air throughout this season with some spotty participation for racers. Here's how it stands at the moment. Brian Suzinski holds on to the championship points lead with 581 points as his current tally. You only have to go 19 back to find Brian Hansen slotted in P2, and you only have to go not too far back from that to find Jason Grider in 3rd. Stephen Westcott and Dan Suzinski complete your top 5. Now we will take a brief look at Masters because I think we have a starting grid to take a look at here soon, which is the reason why we got
the overlay decided to.
It's a little bit sticky. It's like a drag strip, you know, after the events are done, you walk down the drag strip and you get your shoes caught, and eventually it's going to rip those shoes in half. Masters category, Jim Brewster kind of had a stranglehold on that throughout most of the season. However, the gap has closed down with some recent runs from Alan DeGasse as we Wayne Buttermore is slotted in third, with Kurt Nunez and Andrew Love completing your top 5 in the Masters division. So we'll have to see if there is going to be a swap-a-roo between now and the end of the day. Of course, with drop rounds, it's near on impossible to kind of stay with it when it comes to following the championship permutations, but we will let you know that it is a 2-car battle potentially in Masters and a 3-car battle most certainly in Spec 2. Let's take a look at the starting grid though here for the season finale for the Formula V Weekend Warriors in Season 4 of 2025. Gabby Tortello lining up on the pole position. Felix Samoes will join him on the front row, same spot that Felix started in last week at Okayama when he went on to win. Alan DeGassis will start this race in third, another Masters pole for him. Dyer Toomey will start alongside in P4. Chris Montgomery will start this race in 5th. Andrew Love in 6th. Jim Brewster in 7th. Jason Shen, your Spec 2 pole sitter, in 8th. Rob Bright, the Canadian, will start this race at 9th, with Michelle Lynn completing her top 10.
And then we have Kurt Nunez in 11th, Ken Poulin in 12th place. In 13th place, we have Joshua Justice, 14th, Angel Soto, 15th, Brian Straczynski. In 16th, we have Daniel Salmon. In 17th, we have Nick Tullo. 18th, Gary Kittle. 19th, Martin Visser. 20th, we have Brent Thompson. 21st, we have Scott Brayler. In 22nd, Brian Hansen. And in 23rd, we have Andy Middleton. And that'll round out our field.
So here we go, a somewhat short-paced lap, so not a lot of time to settle into a groove, kick back our feet, and try and relax as much as we can for what's going to be a nerve-wracking day behind the wheel for the drivers of the Formula V Weekend Warriors. Tortello guns it early. The green flag isn't even out yet, but the drivers are on their way regardless, heading their way down the start-finish straightaway into turn 1. Tortello holds on to that top spot. Felix Mo's right in tow. Looking down the gas is running up the rear in third. He's going to try and get involved in this battle sooner rather than later. Side-by-side battling also going to flare up there. That's Jim Brewster starting to squabble up. I believe that's a fight with himself and Andrew Love. It is, as right behind him in the midst of that battle is also Jason Shen, making his debut here in the Formula V Weekend Warriors, at least to my memory. But still Tortello in front of Alan DeGassis, in front of Felix Moes, in front of Alan DeGassis as they head their way down to turn 4 for the very first time.
Yeah, we're looking pretty good here so far. A little bit of side-by-side racing there, but all super clean so far here. That's very impressive stuff. Not easy to do. Very narrow track around here. Lots of twisty and undulating corners. We see Michelle Lynn, and I believe that might be Rob Wright almost clicking axles there. So that's going to be a little bit of a tenuous one. He's got a bit of a lead on her here. He's probably going to get this corner and be able to get in front. Not quite yet, as they're both going to go off track together. Oh, massive crash. I believe that was, I'm not sure who that was on the inside, but Michelle Lynn having a big one there.
Yeah, and off through the tight twist. He's in the second half of the lap, building speed through the medium speed corners, these medium speed kinks where things can go so wrong so quickly. Well, it has. Ken Poulin had this race with a meatball flag. He's towed back to pit lane. Michelle Lynn, meanwhile, slotted in 22nd in that number 5 car, about 3 seconds back of Andy Middleton, holding on to 21st. Up in the front, though, it is still Tortello over Felix Moes, over Alan DeGassis, over Dyer Toomey, and the number 13 car in front of Chris Montgomery, completing a top 5 comprising of 4 Spec 1 racers and only 1 Masters racer. Now the side-by-side battling going to go on with Felix Samoes trying to sweep around the outside of Tortello off into turn 1. Not able to get the move done, but he's got cut back on the inside, side-by-side, as they head their way in the braking zone. This is going to be tense. Tortello tries to cover off that inside a little bit, shallow up the run for Felix, but he's able to make the move stick anyway. Your presumptive champion trying to hold on to that number 1, now holds on to the number 1 spot in this race.
Yeah, that was a pretty slick move there for Felix Samoes taking the lead here. So he's definitely showing his nose here today. He wants everybody to know, and especially Tor to know, that he's got the speed, and he's not just going to let him run away with it for sure. We'll get back and have a look at that incident with Michelle Lynn. Again, looked like there was probably just a bit of axle-to-axle contact, which sort of jackknifed the car and ended up getting into somebody else there. I think that might have been Ken Poulin, perhaps. Ken Poulin and Rob Wright, it looks like. As we're going side by side again, Tor's going to get up the inside of Felix. I believe he's going to kind of facilitate that one, Ron.
Yeah, you got to give and take in these battles. You can't just run after it all the time, because eventually something will snap. Either something on the car or something in your head will snap. So These racers will have to go about this race as we usually say on these shows, Josh, don't we? Kind of talking about how in the Formula Vs, it can be a bit of a game of chess. You need to apply some strategy to it. You can't just, it's not like cutting down a tree with a cutting through a twig, I should say, with a chainsaw. You can't just go at it fully and be totally fine. No, you got to be a bit methodical with it if you're cutting a tree with an axe. Know where to place that axe, where to cut, where to apply the pressure. There's a lot of stuff that goes into doing well in these Formula V races, and what separates the top running racers from the drivers who may show the speed but don't get the results to show for it is just a matter of knowing the kind of finesse that you need to put into it to battle hard and get away with it. Side-by-side racing still going on between Felix Moza and Tortolo. They tied in terms of their last lap time, so if you think it's been close between these racers thus far, I think this is just a preview of what's going to come throughout the rest of this. Aldegas is running right in tow, though, so these drivers are not alone in this battle for the top spots.
Yeah, not at all. This is a very racy track, and the Vs are awesome around here. I'm actually super impressed with the way they're racing around here at the moment. This is pretty great. I think we're going to see a lot of action back and forth, especially if the drivers can kind of keep their heads here and stay off each other, as we're seeing Felix Samoas making some very aggressive moves on tour here. So the last round shaping up to be a pretty spicy one here so far, as we're 2-3 wide in a few spots. Chris Montgomery making some moves there in the background. Pretty awesome stuff around Brands Hatch. Couldn't have picked a better track for a final round, I don't think.
Oh yeah, this is an awesome track for these cars, an awesome track for these drivers. Just enough spot to try and get a move done where it can be easy to put on some awesome racing, but it's also tricky enough whereby you need that level of finesse to do well here as well. Running on board with Andrew Love, the sponsor of today's show. He's running right behind your Spec 2 leader of Jason Chen. Now, if we want to mark off Jason Chen as basically being in Spec 1.5, considering that he wanted to be in Spec 2, didn't get everything squared away in time for this race. He made that request rather late, so he's going to be in Spec 1 next season. Here, however, still running in Spec 2. If we want to take him out of that, run him in his own class, it would be a pretty intense battle with Angel Soto, Daniel Salmon, and Brian Szynski for the top spot in that fight. Got to keep an eye as to how Brian Szynski does throughout this race, because Brian Hansen, his main championship rival, is right in it to win it, as well as Tortolo and Felix Samoa still duking it out. Alan DeGassis and Darmay Toomey also going side by side into turn 2 as well. It's getting froggy up in the front of the field, and maybe it's just me and being a bit cynical. I don't have too good of a feeling about this, if I'm being honest.
You know, right until about the last move that I saw there, I was feeling pretty good about it, but now I might be in your camp there, Ron. That was a little bit scary looking. You can kind of tell when you look at a scene like that and your eyes kind of want to go in 3 different directions. You don't know where to look because everybody's cutting shapes. Is usually when something happens here. But man, we got a pack of cars here. We got a lot of really good drivers. Let's hope they can stay off of each other. Chris Montgomery getting right up in there. I believe that's Jason Chen. Is that Chen? Yes, or sorry, it is Chen, not Jason, sorry, but it is Chen getting in there as well in 6th place. Andrew Love, and now I even have Jim Brewster in there. So quite the pack of cars here, all keeping off each other very well so far, and very impressed by it. Let's hope it can stay that way, because this is great to watch.
Yeah, we'd love to see the side-by-side battling. I'm just hoping it doesn't end in tears, as that's Felix Samoas running wide, heading off through turn number 8. He goes off the circuit. That gives the race lead back to Tortolo. This battling is going to be intense from the drop of the green through to the fall of the checkered. If you're enjoying the show already here on SMB just as much as we're enjoying bringing the action to life, we should probably hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the racing action as we swap out season 4 of 2025 for season 1 of 2026 in just about a week's time. For now, though, Tortolo trying to cover off the inside line from Felix Samoas. Now, as much as this track is a great one with a lot of overtaking opportunities, if you play a defensive game here, it can work out well in your favor.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Ron. Around here, you know, if you can throw up that defense, you're going to be able to stop people from taking some of those kind of maybe drastic moves up the inside. You want to kind of put the fire out before it starts, kind of thing, and make sure that they don't try to dive up the inside you, as we've seen. You know, if you can get wedged around here, you're just going to start losing time. You start falling back, you lose that pack. Then it just becomes really hard to catch up to everybody, and you kind of end up on a bit of an island. But at the moment, we are pack driving quite a bit here. There's some racing going on all over the place. We will try to keep up with as much of it as we can. Now, back up at the front here, we're still pretty much side by side through this section of the course every lap, and I'm very surprised here that someone else hasn't pounced on these two drivers quite yet. Alan Degas is sitting back there waiting for something to happen, as well as Chris Montgomery and Chen just watching. I would imagine big giant eyeballs looking forward, not blinking at all, making sure they don't miss that gap when it does appear.
Yeah, wide open eyeballs, no blinking. It reminds me of the first time that I drank a Red Bull. Felix Samoas and Tortolo holding on to that top spot, though. They've been swapping for so long that I'm with you in that camp, Josh. I'm a little bit surprised that a driver like Alan Degassis hasn't made a lunge yet. They keep going side by side to every turn. I think they now have gone side by side through pretty much the entirety of the lap.
Whoa.
As Felix Samoas and Tortolo chasing each other's tails a little bit. This may be the shot that Alan Degassis needs to jump in front of him. Hearing a little bit of a crack of the throttle, though. I don't think he wants to make it 3 wide, because even though these cars are microscopic compared to some of the others that race around here, you can still very easily and very quickly run out of room here at Brands Hatch. So Alan Degassis right now being on the defense, waiting to see what's going to go on right in front of him before he starts to turn up the wick of aggression. He's also had some bits of drama throughout this season as well, it must be said. From round number 1, I believe it was, at Phillip Island, where things really did not go too well for him. Towards the end of that race, had a shot to win that race overall, picked up a penalty for an incident that actually gave the Masters win in that event to Andrew Love. There's been other bits of drama throughout this season that haven't made Alan Degassis too many friends throughout this season, so I think he wants to maybe turn down the wick of aggression. He's playing the defense game as the two drivers right in front are not, as he's now not doing it either. He makes it 3 wide under the bridge, heading into turn number 5. Holds on to that inside, now holds on to P1.
Yeah, that was a good move. That was a very good opportunistic move there from Alan Degassis. He saw that happening and he just took advantage there. And you can see, oh, that looked like a bit of net code to me from Felix Samoas. I think he's actually going to survive that, but Alan Degassis unfortunately is not. We'll have to go back and have a look at that. I don't think that was intentional. It looked like there was a bit of a gap between the two of them, but the net code may have taken care of Alan Degassis. Unfortunate after that great move, and it looks like we got a little bit more in the back there, don't we?
Yeah, it's Kurt Nunez coming to blows with Jim Brewster. I think Nunez has gone away with it somewhat scot-free. Certainly, Jim Brewster has not.
Oh!
The top 2 drivers in your Masters class running into trouble at the exact same time as Felix Samoas. Gonna have to come down pit lane to serve that meatball flag that he's picked up, so that'll take him out of contention. This all worked out well into the hand of Brian Szynski, who's now holding on to a spot inside the top 10. As things stand currently, he would be on track for a Spec 2 championship. Let's see what he can do between now and the very end. Things getting frenetic, things getting chaotic here, and not even just now officially a third of the way through this race. The side-by-side of racing going to flare up once again.
Oh, nice move.
Trying to make something work, as yeah, that's going to be a good move from him. Not a good moment for Brian Szynski as he runs wide out of the turn. Going to maybe feel the pressure as Soto and Tolo continue to battle for P10 right behind.
Yeah, you can see that move. Nick Tullo made a really nice move up the inside there, but then it kind of extrapolates back and ended up losing the 2 positions again. And this track has a tendency to do that. It's very overcut and undercut through the corners, and you get an overcut in one and the guy will undercut you in the next one, or vice versa. And it seems to happen a lot around here, which makes it really fun to watch. But it can kind of be frustrating when you're trying to make a gap between you and the driver behind you. But we're seeing a pretty good battle here as well, I believe, between Angel Soto and Brian Szynski here are definitely nose to tail. We'll go back here and have a look, maybe if we can see what happened exactly with Alan Degassis here. And it looks like we're going to get in close. I'm thinking, Ron, that I don't think they actually made contact, and it was. He actually looks like he slipped out on the curb all on his own there, didn't it?
Yeah, the banana peel left behind on the inside curb. That was off through turn number 6 as they had their way off through the kink. The back end of the circuit from 5, 6, and 7. Probably the quickest section of this racetrack in terms of bits where there is a turn. And very easy to loop it in these cars, where, as we know, the weight transfer, if you hit a curve the wrong way, can end in tears. I think that started before the turn-in, though. I think he was already running a little bit sideways, then hit the curb, and that pretty much just sealed his fate. It's unfortunate for all the drivers involved. It cut down, well, it was a battle of, what do you say, probably about 8 or 9 cars. It's gone from that just to the top 3, and an interesting top 3 at that, with your top 3 comprising of all 3 of our different classes here in the Weekend Warriors. Tortello, your leader at the moment, holding on to the lead in Spec 1. Andrew Love, P2 at the moment overall, leading in Masters. And Jason Chen, your leader in Spec 2, rear gunner in 3rd.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that our front pack got broken up like that, but you know, I think on Alan Degas's incident there, it was just a bit of a shallow line to enter the corner, just asking a little bit too much of the car in a bad sort of posture, and it just unfortunately the grip was not there after the curb, and that's about it. I think you're right, actually. It was on sort of initiation of the turn that the rear end of the car started to slip out, and then the curb just really sealed the deal there. But yeah, a great race up front. Hopefully he'll be able to kind of make some places back up here. But we got a pretty good fight all over the place here between, I believe this is Darmy Toomey and Chris Montgomery. Been kind of ding-dong for a little while here. Not sure if they're going to be able to catch up to the front pack. They could, maybe, if they start working together. But we know how that turns out sometimes. You just want to kind of battle.
So as all of this is going on, it's briefly a Tullo 1-2 with Nick Tullo down in pit lane with a meatball flag and also a black flag as well. And Tortello actually holding on to the race lead there. Sometimes our graphics do have a little bit of a moment. So I think that's what happened there with Tullo being classed up at the front. It is still Tullo up at the front. It's just the son over the father currently. Tortello holding on to the race lead. Now I wonder how this is going to work with Felix running farther behind. Dan Zazinski bringing this up in reference to his brother Brian's championship quest in Spec 2. How it's probably assured for him, considering that at the moment, I mean, you've got, I'm trying to see exactly where his main championship rival, Brian Hansen, is P17. So never really going to see a battle and squabble between those two racers. Pretty much those spots would have to be reversed for it to be too much of a fight. And even then, with drop rounds taken into consideration, I think it's looking good for Brian. How is it looking for Felix, though? I mean, it was nearly 200 points. I don't think there would be a battle, but that gap will certainly get a tiny little chunk been out of it. Now, whether that is a nibble or a full-on gulp remains to be determined, but all I know for sure is that Felix Samoa is running down in 12th and Tortello is holding on to a race lead.
Yeah, for sure. That's not what you want to see as Felix at all. That was a really good battle we were having up front there, and unfortunately just getting taken out by a pretty simple accident. You can't really, blame anybody there either. Very easy to happen, and unfortunately he just got caught up in it, and that's the way it works. So he's going to be on the comeback tour now, trying to make up as many positions as he can to kind of hold on to his potential lead here. But we shall see how it works out in the end. I think he'll probably be okay, Ron, but you're better at the whole numbers thing than I am, I think.
Yeah, I will say, and this is honest, and this is a slightly embarrassing thing for me to say, I've been commentating the Weekend Warriors now for, it's been a while. I did my first Weekend Warriors broadcast for a Spec Race and Ford Race at Road Atlanta, subbing in for Charles back when our old pal Tim Cox was the other lead commentator. So I think my third ever show back in March of 2023, and then I started commentating the Weekend Warriors on a rather full-time basis in March of 2024. And then, of course, had the summer where we went from PBS Kids over to here, so there's a little bit of a shift there. But I've been commentating the Weekend Warriors on or off for nearly 3 years now, and I still cannot make heads or tails of the championship format. Maybe one day it will go through my impenetrably thick skull, but today is not that day. We're still holding on and keeping our fingers crossed.
I'm in the same boat, so I'm also in the same boat. All numbers confuse me. I'm definitely one. I mean, everybody's seen me, I think, in the Weekend Warriors trying to figure out my fuel consumption while I'm on the track, and then I get it wrong and lose 5 positions, and yeah, that's me. So don't ask me too much about numbers. But as we're looking here, we got Tortello still holding off Andrew Love. We got Chen just behind him. I think these guys are probably going to wait till the last lap and see if they can't attack him. We know that Tor, if you allow him to be behind you on the last lap, he's going to find a way to get in front of you. And if he's in front of you on the last lap, you are going to have to find a way around him before the finish, and it's not going to be easy. So we'll see if Andrew Love can make that happen today. He's doing a really good job keeping up pace with Tor and Chen behind there, so he's just got to think about trying to make that move, and it looks like he's maybe having a peek right now.
Yes, I think Andrew Love at this exact moment, he's not necessarily pursuing the race lead. He's just taking the runs when they are allotted to him. And here we go down the inside, heading off into turn number 2. That may be a swaparoo. It will be a swaparoo. Andrew Love, your Masters leader, now with your overall race leader too. So Ryan's all saying that Andrew Love wasn't necessarily attacking for it. He attacks for it and gets a move done. So if you would like my job here at Slow Motion Broadcasting, the email address is slowmotionbroadcasting@gmail.com. Send in your resume and a $50 Amazon gift card. You can have my slot on any show that you want. Half kidding. Andrew Love still now holding on to that top spot. Tortolo right in tone. I wonder how long it's got to be until Jason Chen decides to get involved in this battle too. For now, though, Tortolo looking to jump in front. Here we go with side-by-side battling into 5. The game of leapfrog goes on now. Tolo the one in front.
Yeah, I think you're right too about Andrew Love there. He's just kind of taking the opportunities when they come to him, and you know that pass was just the opportunity. It was the way to keep the momentum going. Tor sort of facilitated it, and now they all win a little bit because of that. They're not going to lose any time to the people behind them. It was no harm, no foul. He's back into second place for now. He kind of knows maybe a place where he can get something done too, so that's going to help him a little bit in the bank there, a little bit of confidence maybe to see if he can't make that happen before the last lap happens here. But I would not be surprised if Bullet Bill had something to say about that when the time comes as well. He's definitely holding pace with them as well, and he's not losing them here. It does kind of look, we have to keep an eye on that gap. We're about 3.6 to Chris Montgomery back there. I think they may be catching up a little bit, so if they're working together back there, we could potentially have a 5-car battle here by the end, but we shall see.
Side racing once again going on. Andrew Love and Tortolo squabbling up once more. Jason Chen gonna look to get involved in that fight as a black flag in the air for Angel Soto and a meatball flag for Brian Hansen. That'll all but assure the Spec 2 championship for Brian Szynski here this season. The battle of the Bryans going on here. What's the I'm trying to think of a comment to make here, because I said on XSLR a couple of weeks ago when the series was running at Sonoma with the rally cars. Well, I think I had the camera on you, Josh, out there on the racetrack, that there are enough Joshuas to start up a small paintball tournament, and enough Brian's in the Spec 2 championship battle to start off a branch of a bank.
There you go.
I apologize to the both of them.
I'm not sure why that paintball thing works, but it does. You know what's actually kind of funny is I actually used to be a range guy at a paintball field. I was the guy who handed out the guns, and man, it was a pretty cool job till the kids on on their birthday shoot you in the face when you don't have any goggles on, and it's super hurt. I had some definite some pretty funny occurrences there down at the paintball field, but yeah, I digress here. We'll look back at Josh Justice here leading the pack of these 3 cars here. Kurt Nunez just behind him, and then Brian Szynski back and forth a little bit here. I believe he just got around Kurt Nunez there. They've been pretty ding-dong here. I'm going to go back, actually, because I think Kurt Nunez got into a bit of an incident with Jim Brewster. I believe it was. I might be wrong here, but we're going to have a quick look back and see exactly what happened here.
Yeah, so this was shortly after the chaos heading off through turn number 5 involving Alan Gassis. There was a move from Kurt Nunez, contact being made. The 2 Masters racers coming to blows as they headed their way off through turn 8. Now that section of the racetrack can kind of lend itself to drivers for going for some outrageous moves, because the space between turns number 7 and 8, I would say, is probably the smallest space between 2 turns on this racetrack. Maybe, I don't even think it's comparable to the space between 2 and 3. I believe it is the shortest by a somewhat healthy margin. It certainly feels short considering the fact that before then you had the long run between 7 and 6, between 6 and 5, and then the back straightaway as we take a look at the other drama that has taken Brian Hansen out of competition here in this race in the Spicy Racing Team 771. He got clobbered.
Yeah, I think that might have been something just kind of up the road, a little bit unsighted. He sort of slowed down. Maybe Zippy didn't see it, or perhaps tried to kind of monopolize on that moment, and really didn't work out for him there, unfortunately. So that corner again, to taking some people out. I guess it feels like you can kind of get a pass there, but there's really only one filtered line down through that corner that has any speed to it anyways.
one thing to talk about this racetrack as well, it being old school, a lot of the turns can be a bit blind as you head your way off through there. Turn 8 is probably the most abrupt turn on this racetrack, with the exception of probably the hairpin. I mean, that is a hairpin, so it does make sense why the hairpin would be so abrupt. But yeah, very, very tricky to sight it as you head your way off through that turn, so it can be a little bit tricky to avoid drama. That was Angel Soto. That's a spin as he headed his way out of turn number 4. Hit the gravel trap, brought a little bit on, and keeps it going in a straight line. We'll say, kind of talking about this racetrack, and most certainly the gravel, remember at the start of, it was the start of this year on iRacing, which started back in December of last year for the start of season 1 of 2025, when they had just brought in the brand new reworked gravel physics where you could drag the gravel onto the racetrack. I think we were doing the broadcast together, Josh, with our old pal, Mr. Chairman Meow Adam Thompson, and the gravel heading off through turn number 2, there's more of it on the track than there was in the actual gravel trap.
Yeah, this place actually can end up like that, can't it? I remember during the, I think it was the Formula Ford 1600 Festival last year, I did, I competed in it, and man, oh man, there's kitty litter everywhere. it was pretty bad, and yeah, you know, it's one of those things. I've actually been you know, not so good at it a few times there, where I just go off the track and kind of forget that that's a thing now and just drive straight back into the line. And I've actually gotten a couple reprimands there from the after race crew for, hey Wilkie, maybe it's not such a good idea to drive straight back onto the racing line with a load of gravel in your car. And it's easy to forget something like that, as we saw here. Chen actually making a pass around Andrew Love. So now I believe he is still there. Andrew Love's going to be hounding him, though. And looks like Tor's actually kind of running away a little bit because they're fighting.
Yeah, so Tortella going to utilize his opportunity to drive off into the sunset and score another win here in the season finale of the Formula V Weekend Warriors here on SMB. Got a lot of action to look forward to, though, between now and the start of next season. The opening round of the championship will be coming to you here on slow motion broadcasting, same time, 2:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Not 2:45, that's 2:30 Eastern Time. That's actually the start of the Spec Racer Ford broadcast. I'm getting my promos crossed up here. That's on me. But the season opening round for season 1 of 2026 will be here on SMB, same time, same place, on December the 20th here of this year. Unfortunately, I won't be there for that broadcast. I have some personal matters going on during that day, but Mr. Wilkie will be on the call for that as usual. It'll be a bit of a shame. That will be the first Formula V broadcast that I've missed out on, and probably the entire time that they've been here on SMB. It'll be a bit unnatural, but you know, you live and you learn. Felix Samoas and Scott Brailer, meanwhile, the driver of the 1 and the 210 respectively, just had a swap-a-roo into 4. Felix still on the comeback after that drama a bit earlier.
Yeah, it looks like he's just trying to make up as many positions as he can here before the end of the race. It's all going to help for the championship for him. I don't know if he's going to be able to make up any more after this one. Don't have a lot of time left now, but he's kind of grabbed what he can here. We'll see how this holds out. I mean, Scott Brailer and Jim Brewster are going to have something to say about it here, I believe, probably by the end of the race too. But we'll see how it goes. And yeah, we got all kinds of stuff coming up on SMB here. I believe we just heard from Stevie Ray himself that we will be doing another Big V runoff here. I believe it's going to be on the 14th. It should be a big one. Not really sure where it's going to be, or if I'm allowed to actually disclose where it's going to be, but we're going to be doing that one again on the 14th, so it should be awesome. Make sure you're around for that one. Should be a big, long show, too, about 3.5 hours long, so lots of action to get into there. Make sure you keep your stay frosty with us here, and we'll get you some more information as we get it.
Yeah, stay warm, everybody, and stay tuned in to Slow Motion Broadcasting, because we are going to have a lot of action in store for Season 1 of 2026, of course, here on the Weekend Warriors, and everything else going on here on SMB2. Meantime, though, at the front, getting close to the end of this race with Tortello up in front of Jason Chen, in front of Andrew Love. Now, I'm going to keep this storyline going because I always keep tabs on the race winners, although we have had a Masters pole sitter here in the Formula V Weekend Warriors. We have yet to have a non-Spec 1 winner. Every single winner thus far this season has been a Spec 1 driver. Tortello's been one of them. Let's see who's going to maybe be the biggest thorn in his side. Will it be Jason Chen running right in tow, or will it be the experienced hand of Andrew Love in his return to the Masters category. Great way to end this season off, and the broadcast that he's sponsoring would be an overall checkered flag.
Yeah, for sure. Andrew's really found some pace this season, for sure. For the Masters driver, he's been up in the top 3, top 5 a lot this season. So really able to kind of put it all together. And that's what it is out here. It's not just all about speed. It's about good decision-making, knowing how to race with a pack. Something I'm still learning how to do, to be honest, in the SRFs, although they tend to be a little bit more frenetic at times, or at least maybe the drivers do. We have a really good group of drivers here in the Formula Vs that super respect each other. Driving as you need to in these open wheel cars here. Andrew Love's going to have a little peek up the outside again. That's most likely just a bit of an intimidation move, right? You want to get in the mirrors of the driver in front of you. You want to let him know. Maybe you can pull his attention a little bit, makes a mistake, bumps into Tor, boom, you're in the lead. Who knows how something like that can happen, but you always want to take those opportunities and see if you can't. I've heard it called a mind punt before, and I swear sometimes I'm able to do it.
And seeing as well in the YouTube chat, this is either a good guess or there's been an announcement made that I have not seen. Dan Szynski saying that it is Willow Springs. Willow Springs. That's going to be a good
It very
track.
well could be. I like that place. Yeah, me too.
I love Willow Springs. That is a very, very fun racetrack. I used to drive it a lot on Project Cars too, so I'll love to see it in the sim. Meantime, though, Jason Shen down the inside toward Tullo down the back straightaway into turn number 5. That'll be a move put on Tullo to send him down to second, but Jason Shen up into first. The time is running out, less than a minute to go. They go be borderline, but we will be coming to the white flag this time by to round off this season. Rob Wright also dealing with some consistent connection issues, so if you see him blink in and out in that P6 spot, that's just the aliens announcing their arrival here and trying to take Rob Wright up into the mothership. Jason Shen leading them as they head their way out of 8 into 9 for the second to last time in this race. 30 seconds left to go on the clock, the time ticking away. Jason Shen gonna be leading them as they head their way across the start finish line to take that white flag. One more lap of racing action from this race, one more lap of racing action from this season, and Andrew Love already gonna fan out to try and get a move done on Tortello, not able to make it work. Tough to go for a move around the outside through turn number 1 here. Look at Jason Shen defending like a madman. He blocks down to the inside. Tortello thought about going for it, but he just couldn't in the checkup. Andrew Love now going to sweep around the outside through the hairpin, not able to hold his own down into turn number 3. This is action worth subscribing to because this is absolutely incredible. It's a 3-horse race with 3 different drivers in 3 different looking cars in 3 different classes. Spec 2's Jason Shen holding on to that top spot. He clips the curb though through turn number 4. That may have sacrificed and potentially ruined his run onto this massively long back straightaway. Here comes Tortello. He's going to make the move done. Will Andrew Love make it 3 wide? He will make it 3 wide. Side by side into turn number 5. Contact made. That nearly wiped out all 3 of them. That takes Jason Shen out of the battle for now, but Tortello is still stuck on the outside as they head their way off through 5. Now into 6. He clears them just a nose out in front of Andrew Love. Jason Shen now in the catbird seat, but not a lot of spots left to try and get a move done. He got 7, 8, and 9, and the long flat out blast between 8 and 9 left. If he can get a move done there, he'll be the hero. If not, he's still going to be your bronze finisher here in the season finale. Andrew Love hops the berm a little bit. He hit the curb coming out of 8. Will he have the opportunity to get a run on Tortello? Will we have a photo finish developing here? They're oh so close to contact through the final turn. Tortello had championship aspirations here in this season of Formula V action and may not work out that well, but will end with a checkered flag as a photo finish right behind. Tullo wins. Andrew Love in second, and Jason Shen only a couple of inches right behind. And third is Kurt Nunez and Joshua Justice got to treat us to a true photo finish side by side coming to the end of this race. Who's going to win it? Look at Szynski pulling out 3 across the line. Szynski, I think, got ahead of Nunez, but did not get in front of Justice.
Wow, Ron, what a finish to our season here in the Formula V Weekend Warriors. That was an amazing round 12. Awesome last lap there from our leaders, and another really close finish behind as well. Just excellent driving from these drivers. What a great group of drivers, so respectful. Just spicy stuff out there. Love to see it. What a great round, and Brands Hatch, just a great place to end the season off here. Awesome.
Nearly burst a blood vessel in my eye, calling the end of that race.
That was
fantastic.
awesome.
That's the mark of a good finish, when it tests the vocal cords and the blood pressure of any broadcasters covering it. I'll tell you what, to all of you tuning into this, I'm sure your adrenaline's probably pumping on the couch as well. So while that action is going on and we're waiting for those results, have to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on what season 1 of 2026 has in store. Because if this season finale is anything to go by, we're going to be in for some flames come time for the start of that season, starting up in just 2 weeks' time here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. But Tortello wins this race. I don't think that'll be enough for him to win the championship, but every single time Tor raced in this season, with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions, he brought the flames, he brought the thunder.
Yeah, he sure did. And I know the respectful driving, like I said, up at the front there between Andrew Love and Chan and Tor, just awesome. Able to get some great shots there. We definitely got some replays with some of the passes and some of the action today. And man, just can't thank these guys enough, or guys and gals enough for the racing they do out there. Just an awesome season. Amazing to be a part of it. We love this.
Now that is, I think, our 5th season covering these Formula Vs together here on SMB, Josh. It has always been fantastic. It's going to be fantastic come time for season 1 of 2026, where we have got a lot of action to talk about, and maybe another championship battle between Tortello and Felix Moes. They really work out too well. Tortello with some somewhat spotty attendance throughout this season, but regardless, we're in for a treat. We're in for an absolute treat for season 1 of 2026 and the entirety of Slow Motion Broadcasting, as we wait to see what sort of jumping and crash shenanigans Tortello's going to burn it down to celebrate the victory. In the meantime, though, everybody got fired off into the runoff area. I believe heading off into the hairpin. I am mortified to know what's going to happen here. We'll run on board with Andrew Love. We may see a
there it is.
car strike the moon. There it is in front of driver's upside down. Oh!
The HP car taking all of that one. Looks like Tor's coming in here now for a hit. Maybe he ran out of gas. Nope, he's just burning it down. Some celebrations for Tor. Great racing from him today. And yeah, he's trying to. I don't think it's got quite enough torque. And that's gonna end. Nope, he's still got drive there. So maybe we'll jump over here, see what Brian's up to. And he's gonna pirouette into the wall off of Chen. Yeah, always great to see a little bit of fun here at the end. You know, in the sim racing, we get to bash our cars around and don't have to pay for them. So why not? We see Andrew Love having a bit of fun here. Good stuff.
Oh, man. One of the great things about these Formula Vs, they put on some awesome racing action, number one. Number two, some of the physics surrounding these cars are just so incredibly janky. And it's just so funny seeing what happens when these cars
They're all floppy. Yeah, it is. I've seen some kind of funny things when they get up in the air to a certain height. They just seem to kind of lose their physics or something, or when they get upside down, they start to look kind of silly. It's pretty funny.
You love to see it. You love to see it indeed.
Oh,
I think
we
we'll
don't want to do that.
Oh,
we lost our cameras.
We replacing cameras. Well,
there we go.
You should probably tune into the rest of the action that we've got throughout this weekend, so we can use some of that ad revenue money to cover up the cost of the new cameras, because that is a quick way to wipe out a camera lickety split on a Formula V. But we will take a look at your race results in just a couple of moments time here to cap off what has been an amazing season of action for the Formula V Weekend Warriors. And for one final time, it's Tortello grabbing the victory here in the season finale over Andrew Love in second and Jason Chen in third. You know, that's not the first time in this season of Weekend Warriors competition. I believe it happened in the FFs, where we had one driver representing all three of the different classes completing your podium. You'd love to see that sort of wild racing that kind of leads up to that point. Certainly the incidents that kind of caused that to take place. Not ideal, but still a pretty good way for things to go. And I will say, talking about the other one that Tortello had throughout the season, actually win number 5 for him in this show. Actually, nope, it was win number 6 for him here this season. So he won half the races. It's just a shame that he only showed up for about half the races. Otherwise, he may have been champion. Andrew Love finishes right behind in P2. Jason Chen completes your podium in third. Rob Wright will finish in fourth, and from Joshua Justice in fifth. Ryan Szynski, your Spec 2 champion, finishing this race in sixth. Kurt Nunez will finish in seventh, and from Felix Samoas, who we believe is your Spec 1 champion here, finishing in P8. Not the result that he may have had in mind, but still a pretty good season for him regardless. Scott Brailer in the 210 car will finish this race in ninth, with Jim Brewster, series admin, finishing right in front of the series admin Michelle Lynn. I kind of rounded that off weirdly, so I'll say this: completing your top 11.
You know what? My mic wasn't on. We got to thank those admins there, Jim Brewster and Michelle Lynn, right beside each other. Excuse me. I'm a little bit sick here. In 10th and 11th, Alan DeGassis right behind them. Andy Middleton in 13th. 14th, Brent Thompson. 15th, we have Daramid Toomey in 16th. Chris Montgomery in 17th. Gary Kittle. In 18th, we have Nick Tullo, who we saw doing some good moves out there. Ended up in 18th, so a little bit of a difficult one there. 19th place, we have Angel Soto. 20th, Brian Hansen. 21st, Martin Visser. Daniel Salmon, a little bit of slipping on the mic there instead of Zippy on the mic in 22nd. And Ken Poulin in 23rd, rounding out the field.
So those are your results for round number 12 of this season. I think we're going to get the interviews up and rolling, firstly by having a chat with Jim Brewster, just to get full confirmation as to who our champions are here, and then we'll move off and have some chats here. So let's drag in Jim to have a little chat. Jim, welcome into the booth. Well, I'll ask how your race went in a couple of moments' time. Firstly, we want to know, who are our season champions?
I do not have the points yet. I have the spreadsheet up, and it hasn't been updated yet, so I'm afraid I don't have any good news for you. So,
Dang it.
So go talk to those winners, and I'll keep an eye out, and you can check in with me later. But,
Hey, thanks for all the work, Jim. We appreciate it, man.
You bet. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you as well, Jim. I feel bad I kind of dragged in with the other grandiose of having the other results, but we will be able to get those loaded up here, Jim. Thank you again for doing everything that you do. We'll probably have a chat with you somewhere down the line.
You bet.
So that was not the other news that we were looking for, but we'll get the interview started here by having a chat with Tor, our race winner. Then we'll probably move off into our champion. So Tor Tullo now joining us here in the booth. Tor, welcome in. Well done on the win here. I don't believe that was enough to win the championship, considering the gap entering this race. But so pretty good results to round off the season. Your sixth win in probably about 7 starts. So how was it out there?
Oh man, Ron, considering last week, I'm so happy that I was able to get the win here. It's a track that I absolutely adore, and I would have been really bummed if I wasn't at least in the fight for the podium. So just really glad to come out of that 3-way fight on top, and really glad to be here.
Yeah, it's another win for you here. Yeah, I didn't make the joke during this broadcast how you have like 50,000 home races. If we ever go to New Hampshire, that's a home race for you, technically. Any races in Japan with a Japanese flag, considering you were there for a while, that can be a home race like Okayama last time out. Here in the UK, we'll just lump in all the British tracks as being a home race for you. So in your like 50,000th home race, it was a pretty darn good drive, but certainly wasn't easy with the pressure from the drivers right in tow.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't. Felix was doing a great job. There was still a mathematical chance of getting the title, so I was just trying to do the thing of staying in front to get the bonus points and trying to push him behind to see what would happen there. But unfortunately, he's just too damn good. But yeah, it was a really unfortunate incident. It looked like with Alan and everyone else behind, and it was kind of sad that it was just the 3 of us left. But yeah, just some darn fun right into the end, and yeah, it was one person from each class, so that was pretty cool as well.
Yeah, I think that's the first time that's happened in the Formula Vs, at least by my memory, in either quite some time or in my entire time covering this series. So seeing that battle at the end was really fantastic, and seeing him grab another win was pretty impressive as well. When I ask you, though, about Season 1 of 2026, of course, real-life racing taking the priority. So are there going to be any interruptions like that, or are you going to be trying to gun for that number 1 to be back on your car come time for the end of next season?
This time for sure, I should be gunning for full season, maybe missing 1 or 2. But yeah, this time for sure, I'm going flat out back for their number one.
All gas, no brakes, do it for Dale. You'll have to see it. Tor, we'll let you give any thanks or shout-outs as usual before we let you go and celebrate the W.
As usual, big thank you to Brabham Motorsport, and a big thank you to my content partner, Kumani Mune. And yeah, just a big thanks to the Weekend Warriors crew. Congrats to Felix on his back-to-back titles. And thanks to you guys at SMB.
Yeah, thank you for joining us here in the commentary booth, Tor. Well done on the win, and looking forward to seeing you out there on the racetrack come time for Season 1 of 2026.
Thank you so much.
And that right there was your race winner, Tortello, joining us here in the booth. And Josh, I'll pass the mic off to you to have a chat with somebody. Who do you want to have a chat with first?
Yeah, maybe we'll pull Andrew Love in here again. I had a talk with him in the beginning. Maybe we can round it off here. That was our Masters class winner and second place winner today. Pretty close one out there, Andrew. You had definitely had a run at the win today. Really good pace. You guys super respectful driving and some awesome shots to watch here. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about how it went out there for you.
I was having a blast. I was a little worried in the beginning, being so far back in that the first pack. It was getting kind of tight, and everyone was going too wide, and we were really slow for a while. But then the pack kind of cleared itself out. The herd, clean the herd out, whatever you want to say. So, yeah, and then it was just Felix, myself, and Jason. I'm sorry, not Felix, Tor, myself, and Jason. And I knew if I could catch Tor's draft and stay with him, I would have a chance for something at the end. So I just, I worked to try to stay in his draft, and I kind of cruised around in the back there, and then about, it was 10 minutes ago, I started practicing here and practicing there, and it wasn't really working very well because Tor is extremely difficult to pass anytime, anywhere. So, but I was within less than a second of him at the end, so I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw you on board there kind of looking for a way around a couple times, keeping everything really nice and clean there as well, though. And, I have a question. Did you set your fastest lap time today in the race behind Tor? Were you finding pace behind him? Like, I'm wondering if when you watch somebody behind like that, are they able to drag you sort of into a faster lap time, or is that something you kind of had in the bank before you got in the race today?
No, that is not my fastest overall at this track. No, but when you're in the draft, it's a lot easier to be clean but still be fast. I mean, because you can be slower in the corners, but then just use the draft to pull up. Because I was thinking about that, and I had 0 X's until the last corner of the last lap.
Oh.
So I was, I'd been really clean all race. I wasn't pushing wide or anywhere. I wasn't doing anything like that. So being in Tor's draft, I was just able to stay there. He would push it. I would see him off track here and there. I'd see him sideways. He was in the corners a little wide, especially the left-hander going up into the woods, coming out of the infield. So where am I going with this? So yeah, when you're in the draft like that, you can drive it like 75% and still be fast.
Yeah, it was awesome. We're just watching kind of a quick replay there of the last 3 wide. The 3 wide, it was just great. That was awesome. A little tiny axle touch there, but no harm done. And yeah, just some great driving out there today, Andrew, for sure. Yeah, great to watch. Super fun. We're definitely got a couple highlight clips that I think you're going to be a part of here in the next week or so. So cool. Thank you for that. Is there anybody out there you'd like to thank here before we let you go?
I thanked everybody at the beginning interview, but thank you guys for sticking us out and being our broadcast team. I love watching the show afterwards, and I look forward to doing it again next year.
Awesome. Yep. Thank you for the kind words there, Andrew. We're looking forward to it as well. And yeah, have a good rest before next season. We'll see you back out there.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
And that right there was Andrew Love, your P2 finisher here in this race, and the sponsor making today's broadcast possible. Don't have a chat here with Felix Samoas. It seems like Felix is our champion, Spec 1 champion, now joining us here in the booth. Felix, welcome in, and not the race that he probably had in mind after the drama with yourself and Alan a little bit earlier on, but so a pretty darn good season for you. We believe it is a championship winning season as well, so back-to-back titles. How was it out there here today?
Yeah, as Thor said, it was unfortunate. Alan lost it there, and I had nowhere to go. I braked, but I got hit from behind, and I had damage. I had to speed, so my race was doomed at that point. I still had fun. I stayed until the end because I wanted to celebrate winning the championship. I had fun, so yeah. What else can I say? We had some nice side-by-side moments, me and Thor. So I was enjoying myself, and I also enjoyed after the accident. It was a different race, trying to push as fast as I could, gaining as much places as I could. So overall, was a fun race. I think it's a good combo. The Brands Hatch with these cars, it's a good fit.
Yeah, it really does feel like a match made in heaven. As I said right towards the start of the show, it's an old school car, an old school track, and it can lead to some old school fun. But that was a 4-win season for you on track for the title. So I just want to ask you about some like personal highlights from this season of Formula V action.
Oh, I don't remember. To be honest. Yeah. I don't have
we'll
any.
say the 4 wins.
Yeah, probably. I don't even. I could have thought which races I won this season, but I didn't before. Yeah, the wins, of course. I wanted to win this one to equal Thor in number of wins, but yeah, it was not possible, unfortunately. I think overall was quite. It was a interesting season. Again, the fact that I don't have any highlights, there was nothing outstanding, good or worse or bad. So yeah, my memory, as you said, you winning the Masters. I'm not far from there, and memory sometimes fails me.
Oh, I'm very close in terms of memory myself, which is saying something because I'm on the younger end. I just have the IQ of a mud flap. That's my disadvantage. But looking ahead to season 1, a lot of actions to look forward to. Don't really know what the schedule is going to be like, but what are your thoughts heading off into another season of Weekend Warriors competition?
Yeah, I'll have the same goal of trying to win the championship. It will not be easy if Thor races all the races. So the only chance anyone has to win this championship is when Thor doesn't race at least 9 races. Yeah, let's see. Maybe I can give him a good fight until the end. At least that is my goal.
Well, I'm certainly going to be cheering for you to have a good battle with him, because just from our perspective in the broadcast booth, that would make it a whole lot interesting come time for season 1. But Felix, we'll let you give the usual thanks or shout outs before we let you go and celebrate the championship crown.
As usual, the people that keeps the league going for such a long time, and everyone taking place and making this a fun place to be. You guys at the commentary booth, and the sponsors, and everyone that takes their own money to sponsor these races. And we can't thank them enough.
Yeah, and we can't thank them enough either. It's been my honor and privilege to be on the call for another season of fantastic Formula V action, and looking forward to seasons long off into the future. Felix, congratulations on the championship, and we'll see you back out on track probably tomorrow for the FFs and SRFs.
The SRFs, the Formula Fords, I will miss, but the SRFs, I intend to do that race.
Well, we'll see you out on track for the Spec Racer Fords, man. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And that right there was Felix Simoes, your Spec 1 champion. See, I got it right on the end of the interview, not at the start. But Josh, I also have the opportunity to have a chat with our Spec 2 champion, Brian Zazinski, so I'll let you have the honors of having a chat with him right about now.
Yeah, let's have him in here. Brian, great race today. You're Spec 2 champion, so you're able to haul it out for the whole season here and take the victory. Yeah, how'd you do it, man? Let's hear it.
Well, before the season started, I put forth a challenge to the entire human race that I would never lose. And here we are. I am the overall incident champion for the 3rd year in a row, with 83 incidents in the 10 races I did.
Hey, well, if you're going to take some kind of a title on top of a win, that's not a bad one to have, I suppose, as long as you were able to actually get the win at the end of it, too. Brands Hatch today was a bit of a frenetic race here and there. How'd you see it out there? Was it pretty frenetic for you as well, or smooth sailing?
Yeah, absolutely, and it tends to be here, and knowing that you're just kind of hanging back, and you can see who's getting antsy, and just give yourself a little bit of a gap. And for the, I think two incidents I had in front of me, I was able to get through cleanly, and then eventually see other cars parked on the side of the road from incidents I couldn't see, and got it home.
Yeah, excellent. I think you're right. This place really does sort of breed passing and sort of undercut to overcut. You think you got it on the inside, and then it swings back to the outside on the next corner, and a lot of back and forth we saw around here. I think it's a great place to finish off the season. Honestly, we had a pretty awesome race there up at the front, but yeah, I think it's pretty technical and stuff as well. Did you get a lot of practice in before this one, or is this a track you kind of know offhand?
This one, I'm never consistent here, so I don't feel comfortable at the track. I love the track, I just don't feel comfortable here. Mm-hmm. So I did some testing, maybe a half an hour Tuesday and Thursday or something, and then the draft party last night made me feel a little bit better. And then I actually just got home from my son's 5th birthday party at a slot car racing venue, minutes before qualifying started, so I had no warm-up today, but I qualified good enough, so
yeah, I think you're right. This place as well, you need to practice around here. I also really love this place, but I was saying in the run-up, just can't seem to find a rhythm around here. I'll get rhythm one lap and then I just kind of lose it again, and I've never really been able to put together, say, a 30-minute race properly. I can get a lap here, but over and over and over again, I need more practice. I think it's a difficult track for sure, but we are looking forward into next season here, and the Formula V runoffs coming, I believe, on the 14th. So we'll see you back out there next season, I would assume. And is there anybody you'd like to thank here before we let you go?
Well, first of all, you said Formula V runoffs. I haven't seen anything announced yet.
Or the V Big runoffs is what it's called, actually, I believe.
Oh,
the Big V runoffs.
The virtual runoffs.
Okay. Yeah, I believe that's right.
Yeah, I thought Formula V was taken over. They had a Formula V bodywork hanging on the wall at the track car place, and I was talking to the guy, the operator, and he's like, "Oh, that's a friend of mine. I know nothing about it." I'm like, "That's a citation body. That's what I run." But
nice.
So yeah, shout out to Mr. Colin Stasinski on his, and it's not his birthday yet, but 5th birthday party. And my daughter Mabel's going out to some other birthday parties tonight, so wild weekend for the kids. Thanks to my wonderful wife, who is dealing with all that, so I can play video games in my basement. Thank you, Kristen. I love you. And thanks to brother, probably watching somewhere.
I believe he was. He says, "Boo, Brian sucks."
That's a tradition. Yeah, I had them all boo me at my.
There we go. Some brotherly love.
Yes. No, it's a sign of endearment.
It sure is. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's getting ready to meet up with the other Brian Hansen in the real world, wherever. I don't even know what state he's in, but he's traveling, and they're going to meet up in real life to shake hands and, I don't know, eat a sandwich, whatever they do. So
nice.
Yeah, thank you, buddy, for everybody involved. It's a great series. Jim, Michelle, Stevie, and especially you guys. You always put on a great show, make us look good. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, man. We love to see you out there, and we'll catch you next season. Take care.
Cheers.
And that right there was Brian Stasinski, our Spec 2 champion here in Season 4 of 2025 for the Formula V Weekend Warriors here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. Josh, it's been one heck of a ride throughout this year. We've had some brilliant racing, some amazing finishes, and I think we ended the year off on a very good note here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Brands Hatch probably one of the best places that we could have finished it off here. And once again, just some amazing driving from the drivers out there. So much respect, just cutting shapes all over the place. Nobody really making too much contact. Gotta love the Formula Vs here. What a great group of drivers, and a great series to commentate over. We're always looking forward to these Saturdays and looking forward to next season as well. So hopefully we'll see everybody there, and we'll wrap this season up, Ron.
Yeah, we do have a little bit of action to look forward to here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. The upcoming show's graphic does look a little bit peculiar, considering that we are heading off.
It will fill in, yep.
The information isn't fully filled in yet, but I will let you know because I feel like it is my job to kind of know about some of the stuff going on here on SMB. Of course, tomorrow it is at 12:45 p.m. Eastern time, not 2:45 a.m. I think the information that may have gotten a little bit.
I think
screwed
maybe
up
the
in
bot kind of
time
chewed
zone
stuff up a
swap,
bit. We're
yeah.
gonna have to fix it. Yeah, unfortunately, it is an
Yeah, let's see,
automated system here, and it looks like it's kind of chewed some of our information. So we're gonna have to have a look at this. But yeah, I'll let you continue there, Ron.
Yeah, it was just a little there. So, you know, it happens to the best of us. That's how I sounded like when I drank my first Red Bull. The Formula 4 is going to be at Watkins Glen tomorrow on the Cup layout. One of our SMB colleagues, our newest SMB colleague and my co-commentator last week, Howie Burrows, is actually part of the official series community that voted that track into being the season finale for the officials. And, of course, that carries over here into the series. The Spec Racer Fords are actually going to be at Montreal next week. So, not next week, tomorrow. So you'll be able to see them at Montreal. That would be a rather interesting race. And later on tomorrow evening, you also have Liberty Bell running at Okayama. You'll be able to catch Michelle Lynn out there on the racetrack for that. Don't think there's going to be too much going on this upcoming week. There may be a Sim Racers group week 13 special event, so stay tuned for that. Gives you a good reason to subscribe and especially hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever we go live. XSL are going to be returning in about 1 week's time on December the 14th. However, I've got another show that I gotta go off to, so I should probably wrap this up here. So once again, it's been my honor to be with you on the call throughout this season of Formula V Weekend Warriors action, and I hope to see you all for season 1 of 2026. But for myself, Ron Maunz, and Josh Wilkie doing an amazing job working the comms and cams as always with me on this show, I say thank you all so very much for tuning into the action on Slow Motion Broadcasting today, and we hope to see you all wherever it is in the not too distant future.